We feel very lucky to have been partnered with Goodwill because they've done so much for Lori and for us.
At Christmas time or around birthdays, he's so proud he can go into his own account and be able to go buy his sister a little gift or whatever.
When we found out that Brian was going to receive services from Goodwill, we were really excited about it.
And if you felt the need to be needed, this was your spot.
Goodwill Industries International was founded in 1902 by a man with roots in Iowa, Edgar J. Helms, in ministry at Solon United Methodist Church, and graduate of Cornell College in Mount Vernon. Edgar J. Helms founded the first Goodwill in South Boston in 1902. In 1965, Goodwill Industries of Southeast Iowa was founded to help train and employ people with disabilities. 2 years later, ground was broken for the present-day headquarters of Goodwill of the Heartland. What began with a small training center and thrift store in Iowa City now includes retail operations and support services to communities across 19 counties in eastern Iowa and Illinois.
The first 10, 15 years were difficult years for Goodwill. There were no pay raises for 2 years. There was no benefits. So by the time I got there, the crisis was over, and the organization was really ready to grow again. When we first started, the stores were not very visible and not very important. Today, everybody knows Goodwill is a bunch of stores where you take donations, but in those early days, we were very much more of a service provider for people, adults with disabilities.
Well, I remember back when I first started, I'd say, well, I work at Goodwill at a party or something, and somebody said, oh, do you have a shirt about my size? And so I said, we may come and see us, but here's what we do. Here's what we do with that retail. Here's why we do that retail. We try to make people's lives better.
One of the advantages that Goodwill has here is we started doing vocational services for people with disabilities early and moved it into the community early.
A lot of people have no idea that they might know a little bit about Goodwill, but they have no idea that we provide supported community living services where we're helping people in their homes.
When I started 28 years ago, we were of course much smaller. We had about 70 staff employees, where we currently have over 500. We did a little bit of everything. So in that day, we didn't have job coaches. So I would do job coaching as well as job development. And it was an era where we were very small and employees just pitched in and did whatever was needed to be done.
I think that the power of work makes people feel good about themselves. And so you have to start there. You start feeling good about yourself, then everything else goes along. Then you work a little harder, you push a little harder. When I walk in, I feel like a movie star because they're, hey Deb, how's it going? High fives everywhere. Everywhere I go. I make it a point though to know the people that work for us and stop and talk to them because it's important to them. Sometimes this workplace is the only interaction they get with people, so why not make their time fun? So
when I started out as a job coach, I had one of the most humbling experiences I had in my life. My first assignment was working with a young individual, almost identical in age, who had experienced a traumatic brain injury when he was in the military. And that comparison that I was able to make and thinking how one moment in time can take people on completely separate paths was, for me, a very humbling moment.
And when you see somebody get a job and see how that can transform their lives, how much more independent they can become, both financially, but socially, and feeling confident in themselves, then that's just a huge reward.
When I first started, I was an accounting clerk and was learning the different areas of those jobs. Goodwill is huge at promoting from within. And since I process all kinds of paperwork, the promotions and all that, I see how much we hire from within and how much we train our people to step up to the next level. And so they're really excited. There's a lot of people that I've seen, go from a store clerk to a manager.
Well, the way we spend
the dollars that are donated to us. We spend roughly 90% of that on mission. So every dollar that's produced in our revenue through our stores or our light manufacturing or mission services, 90 cents of that goes back into the mission.
There's so many other parts of our business that are not well known. I think that people don't realize that we serve so many different populations. We are working with a wide variety of individuals, so that barrier to independence may be a disability, it may be homelessness, it may be poverty, maybe someone who's a veteran, but we're all about helping put people to work and helping them to gain the pride that comes in having a job.
I think that Edgar would look at what Goodwill has become and be absolutely pleased as punch.